Stacey graduated from high school in 1986. She was rather quiet, beautiful girl, very talented in crafts and ceramic work. And then by the spring of '88, she was the manager of a craft store in Belle Fountain. My brother, Jim, opened a tanning salon on the second floor, and that's where he met Stacey. He and Stacey hit it off and were soon inseparable. She was 19 at the time, and he was 34.
This would have been when Stacey and Dad first got together.
She has sort of this whirlwind romance with Jim Arthur. She had been previously married, had a child from her previous marriage. Jim, he had been married before as well. She meets Jim and is very smitten with him.
I think they both were really happy together and that they found each other.
On June 4th, 1988, they got married, and that started it all.
Just wait till everybody gets in here. Get your head back.
She was the only mom I ever knew for a long time.
My mom and dad separated when I was young, and Stacey adopted me in 1989.
Like when she came into my life, I was still very little. Like it was no feat for me to call her mom because she was there. I don't remember ever not calling her mom. I think the biggest change for me was not that there was a new woman in the house as much as Stacey brought her daughter with her. And that was a change because I had always just had an older brother.
Later one. Okay.
Her hair is always pretty, and she had high heels, like the really high heels. And, you know, as a little girl, those are so much fun to go in the closet and try on and attempt to walk in them and fail terribly.
She was very photogenic. She took some great pictures. And then when they got married, she decided she'd like to go into modeling. So Jim became her manager and her support staff. She started out in a pageant. She did win 32 different pageants. She had all kinds of trophies and things to show what she had accomplished.
He had put her up for more and more pageants, and as she kept winning, she gained more confidence over time, and she won Mrs. Ohio. In June 1990, she was the youngest competitor, and she swept the competition. So that was obviously a huge highlight for her career.
Usually, people did not win that pageant on their first time. She was shocked, absolutely shocked when they announced that she had won.
This would be her Mrs. Ohio crown. Every little girl's dream is to have a tiara this big that's not made of plastic.
Jim saw beyond what was happening right in front of her, and he wanted to help her reach for the stars. He wanted to help her achieve and be the best that she could be, which led her to Playboy.
A husband wanting his wife to be a playmate might seem weird at first. Like, why does he want his wife to be naked for everybody else to see? But based on my experience, I've seen husbands be really excited to have their wives pose. And, you know, to them, it's like a trophy. There can definitely be another side, too. It would take a really secure partner to be able to deal with that and be confident and supportive.
So after she won Mrs. Ohio, she continued to model. That led her to a gig in Chicago. And while they were out there, they stopped in at the Playboy headquarters. Jim said, "Let's do it while we're here." And she said, "Sure, let's go."
I think to outsiders looking in, Playboy looked like a really glamorous, upscale world. Playboy was such a huge magazine in the 90s, and it was very, very mainstream. I mean, you would see Playboy have a presence in like family movies. It was something that was, yeah, it's a little bit racy, but it was so mainstream at the same time. For Playboy to have a pageant queen as a centerfold was a really big deal. That was another thing that kind of legitimized the magazine more. Is like, oh, this Miss America type person could be a centerfold too.
Jim made arrangements to get a photo shoot and some videotaping done. They saw something in her that they really liked.
Just a month later, Stacey was flown out to LA for her Playmate shoot, and that's unheard of. She was definitely fast-tracked.
It's your first taste of celebrity. A lot of girls do go on to become household names. I think Stacey wanted that really badly. All of a sudden, you're the hometown hero, and everybody, wants to meet the Playmate, and oh my gosh, she did Playboy.
This must have been a whirlwind for Stacey to go from being from a small town in Ohio, and just a month later, you're being flown out to LA, you're staying at the Playboy Mansion, you're doing this shoot for a huge magazine.
They used to put the Playmates in the bungalows if we were doing photo shoots, sometimes making appearances there in LA, and have just let the Playmates stay there. It was 91. They had me rooming with Stacey Arthur, probably because we both came out of Chicago. And Stacey asked me if I wanted to go into the grotto, and I said, yeah, I may as well. It's like a hot tub and cave. It was really spectacular.
It's right next to the pool, and the pool kind of flows into it. So there's all these hot tubs, and then there's like a little, stream you can swim through, and like tunnels you can swim under. It's really cool. And of course, it's also, the famous place where supposedly everybody goes to have sex, and certainly many people did.